Hello.
Hey
Hi,
everyone, how's it
everyone.
going?
It's going good. We're live on YouTube and LinkedIn. Just double checking everything right now. Looks like we're there. And today is a special day because we don't have a guest, but I think Chris,
And you guys can also hear what we've been up to. Usually
yeah,
we're the ones listening to other people's stories, but today we get to, hear more about what Marissa's up to and a little bit more about her today. So let me
awesome.
take a picture of this.
Yeah.
Smile. Cool.
So first, a check-in. Let me check in how you're doing, Chris.
Yeah,
How you doing? How's
I'm
business?
good. Business is it's good in a way that there's people that want to work with us,
hmm
definitely, but the part is payment. So,
Isn't that always
um,
the thing?
yeah, I guess, yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're going to switch the demographics on who we market towards.
hmm
I love the startup world, just because everyone is ambitious
hmm
and and in this sort of demographic, and everyone's new, and we get to
hmm
help them. But problem is funding. So
Yeah. And I think
yeah.
you can still find, I mean, I found that, I was doing that for a little bit, really focus on startups. And I think, there's different ranges of startups. There's startups that are like super fresh on ideas and super ambitious, but they have yet to establish the foundations of a business to understand that they need to invest in certain things and not necessarily for our services, but, some things as simple as an accountant. And I think that's what people learn along the, or a lawyer or whoever, whatever those most important business um, aspects are. I think it's easy to like default into like, well, this business is going to succeed because I have a good marketing plan or like I have a good idea, but
Hmm.
they forget how to run the business itself. So
Yeah.
I think that's, and then as you grow into, a better business owner and learn that you can start prioritizing certain projects and expansion and scaling. I just think it's very easy to fall into the imposter syndrome of like, I want this to take off like right away.
Hmm.
And um, it's actually been 5 years since I've been on my own. This week, I think actually
This week.
today or tomorrow is around that. I remember my first official day, not in a corporate setting, was this day or this week. I remember it's early February. I don't remember the day.
I
5
think
years ago.
today's my parents' anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary to your
I
parents.
think. I don't know. I may be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think it's just really interesting. Like, I'm reflecting a lot on like where I've been in the last 5 years and how I feel as a business owner and where I see it going. Um, and it's pretty. I mean, I was just talking to one of our friends earlier today about um, our friend Suzanne, about just being very busy and like trying to manage that. And it's good to be busy, but you have to understand how, taking time for yourself and improving yourself is really important if you're here for the long run. So,
Yeah, I find that to be true as well. Like, I
mhm.
don't think that there's any problem with taking a rest,
Yeah,
but not too often. I think, of course, the balance.
right. I
You
just
know,
find myself
yeah.
more energized to do the work once I give myself the the grace and the acceptance of me as a business owner to like turn it off,
Hmm.
and just be like, okay, like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, and this is kind of leading into what we're gonna talk about, about
Right.
I'm not in my home office, I'm not in my hometown right now, but I've been able to work and be communicative and be productive because of
So
the things that
since
go ahead.
so since you're away from the office and even from the United States, like you're over
Yeah.
technically like in a different country.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for being away from your office when you're running a business?
Yeah, I think it does take, like I said, grace and giving yourself the permission to one, take time away. But also, if you have to work a little bit extra, like the couple days before, or, you have to communicate something. And I think a lot of people, when they work for themselves, they think that they're not allowed any time off because they can make their own schedule. So working weekends, working nights, getting up early in the morning, working all day long, like that's what this lifestyle is supposed to be, right? Like you're supposed to be working all the time, but
Hmm.
that's not it. It's not going to work. There's things you want to do. There's people you want to say hi to. There's relationships you need to build on in addition to doing the work. So for me, the way I prepare is one, I mean, my calendar is kind of trying to be set like throughout the end of March right now. Like I can kind of foresee like that I'm going to be busy. And if someone wants to meet, or if it's not a high priority task for like a client or something, I am okay with saying I can't meet, or I need to meet in 3 weeks, or, let's reconnect next month, even if
Hmm.
it's a new lead, because it's not something that is healthy for me to stress myself out in trying to get all that done and giving the proper impression that I need to as a business owner if I'm stressed about it, and like reducing the amount of work that's needed in order to present myself properly.
Hmm.
So I think that's one of the things that I prepare for being away. Like I don't mind putting on my out of office a week early because, you're kind of preparing, you're being communicative, but you're also allowing yourself the space to not have to reply to everything right away because people
Right.
know that you're going to be out of office. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I find that to be very important.
mhm.
Either if as a business owner or even if you're an employee somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's very important to take that time. I think I don't know about everywhere else. I know some people in Europe, that they, for example, they actually enjoy their vacations. Like they
Yeah.
don't,
And
and
there's
they
no
get more
guilt.
vacation time than we do. Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
they have no guilt for it. But for
Mhm.
some reason, the culture here in the United States is always about
Right.
grinding. Even if you're an employee,
Mhm.
uh, even though they'll lay you off or fire you today or tomorrow,
Yeah.
you break your back for them, and then um, you never really got to enjoy yourself.
Right. And I think if it's that extreme where you are away for something that maybe, will improve yourself, improve the business, improve something, it's obviously a decision you've made, and a client or some connection that you've made decides not to work with you or decides not to communicate with you because you're away, it wouldn't have never worked out anyways.
Yeah,
They're like, "Oh, you're not available for me, so I got to move on." Like they don't respect your time, they don't respect what you possibly could be going through. You don't know. I mean, it could be a death in the family. It could be a lot of things
yeah,
you just don't have to share. But, there's all this like expectation that you need to be able to be available for me at all times. That's never going to work no matter what you're doing.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Like one thing I'm allowed because I just brought on like a salesperson
mhm. Yeah.
into Pick the Lift, and so I was going through all the legalities that you need for California
Hmm.
in hiring somebody. So they're asking about like days off, like minimum for I can't remember actually, but I gave more. So, for example, I don't need like you can give PTO, but there's like a minimum amount that you need to give. But I'm
Hmm.
giving, for example, you get 10 days, uh, 10 days of PTO plus you get no, you get 15 days of PTO plus you get all the 10 national holidays that we celebrate here.
Hmm.
So you essentially get 25 days off. Um, most businesses don't like offer that.
Yeah.
And also, I think you're only allowed or minimum is like 5 sick days per year.
Hmm.
So I'm giving 10. For a death in family, it's minimum 3. I'm giving 10. Just because you need time. Like 3, come on. Like if you're a business and you're giving people 3 days off after an immediate family member died, you
Yeah.
should go out of business. You are an asshole.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. Even 10, I feel guilty. Like I feel like that's not enough. But
yeah, I
um,
mean, it really just depends on how they process it and what makes them feel better. I mean,
yeah,
that's a huge thing. I think, fortunately, I have not had to deal with this, in the last 5 years because, I have pretty good, you know, family stuff. And, if someone had passed away, it's not, maybe they're not located here. So it's not something I have to like take care of all of the arrangements and whatever,
yeah.
God forbid. But yeah, like I had a friend pass away last year and they weren't here and I took a day and I actually
Mhm.
didn't even notify anyone. And it's still, some days I feel like that, or I feel down, or I'm thinking about, stuff that isn't really, it's going to impede my productivity. And I allow myself to take those days because
Correct.
no one else is going to come, like come in and rescue me from that. It's myself. I have to listen to my own brain, my body, my processes, everything. And then I come back after a day or two of being off and I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just need that mental clarity and space within
Mhm,
yourself. Like for example, like after this, I'll jump on to my next question. But at the last corporate job that I had,
mhm.
we actually had a guy die on site from a stroke.
Oh, wow.
And like we don't know if it was work related, but
It
he
could've
was definitely stressed out. Yeah. So
yeah.
we're just like, it's not even worth it.
Yeah,
And
and I
like the
think
company didn't even acknowledge it. Like they didn't tell anyone. I'm like, Jesus, really? That's not
yeah,
okay.
I think there's a lot of factors now with, just overcompensation of one content. There's newspapers, there's audiobooks, there's social media content, there's blogs, there's so many different ways of consuming. And if you're not balancing it and understanding, like I want to share all the things, all my methods, but I'm doing what's working for me. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everyone else. I can share with people and I can say, well, this is what I do, but I wouldn't expect them to do exactly what I do to be content with what they're doing.
So if you're talking about methods,
Mhm.
what methods do you take on your normal routine then?
Yeah. So, like my normal routine is, one, waking up early. I think that when I first started working remotely for a job out in the East Coast, I had to work 7 to 4. So I had to log in. I had to make sure my computer was logged in because my desktop was still in the office in the East Coast. So
Mm,
I was
mhm,
remote connecting to it so they could see. I don't think it was more of like it wasn't the fact that they didn't trust me, but I didn't need to have my laptop here and like set up my whole home office. So it was more so just like let me log in. And so my duties were to start at 7. But in order to be very productive at 7, if you're working in an office, you go to have your coffee, you have breakfast, you kind of like wake up a little bit before you get to the office, maybe 10 minutes before, you kind of say hi to people. So when I first started that, I was living on the West Coast. So I had to wake up at like 5:30 to like maybe go to the gym, get my blood, circulating and start getting into the mindset of working and then have breakfast. So I was
mm,
up at like 5:30 every day. And that wasn't abnormal for me because I just never reconnected to like the West Coast time zone. And now it's a sleep in if I sleep in till like 7 now,
mhm.
and
Yeah,
so
I know.
even when I'm remote, like I am mindful that today is Tuesday, it's a work day and other
Mhm,
people are going to work. So why should I just feel like, "Oh, I'm on vacation because I'm not home." No, I have to get up. I have to
Yeah.
shower and get dressed and plan out my day that as if I was working and not just treat it as, well, if I'm not home, then I'm not working, and
Mhm, mhm.
it's definitely, you know, the methods that I do are very similar to what my life is back home. It's just in a different location,
Mhm. So, since you're in a different location,
Mhm,
do you still try to wake up, for example, like say if you wake up at 6 every day in the
mhm,
West Coast, but you're in Canada,
mhm.
do you still try to make it? So like what time zone do you still try to fit into?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still right now. I'm still in the Pacific time zone because I'm just north of Seattle, so I'm still on the same time zone. But I'm gonna be going
Mhm,
to overseas later this month,
mhm.
and I don't think it's gonna be easy to be on the same time zone. But
Yeah,
I'm going
that'll be
to,
at night.
yeah, I'm going to give myself the space to be really on vacation because this
Mhm,
is a vacation. This is a designated vacation. However, there may be some times where I need to check stuff online, and maybe that's what I put into my method. Like I'll check in the morning and I'll check at night, but I'm not going to be like pulling out my laptop and going to a coffee shop at 12 o'clock in the afternoon to get on, like, Chris, no offense, but we're probably not going to be able to do the podcast, or you're going to have to do it on your own, which
Yeah.
is fine, because I know that you travel as well. But, just being open to the flexibility. And then also right now, foreseeing that you are going to be gone that week and you maybe potentially get a new lead, or someone comes in and says they want to work with you on a project, like already knowing that in 3 weeks I'm going to be gone, like, can I get this done in the next week, or are we going to put it off till beginning of March when I know I'll have more mental space available?
Mhm. And when you're, for example, when you're overseas on vacation,
Mhm.
and someone does need you and it's urgent, do you have a fallback plan that someone, you
Ooh, good
can help
question.
assist you?
Yeah, right now I don't, but that's actually a good method, I think. Um, there are people in my network that can help me, so maybe that is something I need to prepare for. If something does come up, and I think it's all goes back to like how you prepare in general for your business. Like over time you realize how important processes are, how important, organization of files and stuff like that. So if I need someone to go and recreate a piece of content that's scheduled or whatever, like I can say, hey, can you create this with these colors, and allow them that, or like, here's access to the Basecamp folder, or here's a shared folder of all the images and the content. Can you create this? Or, um,
Mhm.
using tech tools, I think, is also very important because something like Loom, or getting on, recording one of these videos or a Zoom or something like that, and recording it for the person that needs it, so that you can have that, like, actual, like, showing them the screen or talking to them. Then I think it's, allowing the space for those things already in your business will help you as you do more traveling and you work more remotely, because it's really just all about having strong Wi-Fi and a roof over your head.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Because Wi-Fi is key, right? Like, I worked out of a coffee shop yesterday for a few hours,
Mhm.
and I probably was the only one there with my laptop open, which was really interesting because the area that I'm in specifically doesn't have a lot of remote workers, but I was doing
You're
it.
in San Diego?
No, right now.
You're in Canada. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
weird. Okay.
It was
So is
interesting.
Canada behind in that, or
Sorry.
does Canada not allow a lot of remote working, or
I think
you
where
know?
I am at is just very rural, and not rural, but suburban. So I think if you're living in this area, you travel to go to work, or
Mhm.
I'm not really familiar with the makeup of, the type of people that live here, and like what their job functions are. And also a lot of people could be living in this area, but they're on holiday because it's cold. It's like
Mhm.
feels like -3 Celsius right now, which is fine for me because I'm inside. But
Mhm.
it's not like there was in my whole like I did a mile walk this morning, like walking around to different places, and
Not in
there
the
was
snow, no way.
there was
Mm-mm.
what?
I said not in the snow, no way.
It was fine. I mean, just have a hood on, just walk, and it's like wet snow, so it's like rain snow. Um, but there was maybe like 5 people total walking, like in that mile. Like there was mostly cars, and then just five faces really that I encountered on the street, which was
Mhm.
different.
Yeah,
Not what I'm used to from San Diego, where there's always people walking around.
yeah, especially like in the area where we work in,
Yes,
downtown,
definitely. Mhm.
always people,
Right,
you
exactly.
know, 24 hours almost. Uh, so when you're working remotely, what is one key thing that you do to run it,
um,
to ensure that's running?
I think my calendar is like really important.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, planning out your count, like understanding, like I said, like I'm right now probably like I don't think my calendar is full for February, but my brain is mentally full because I have all of these tasks that I know I need to do
Yeah.
before I go somewhere at the end of this month. And then the beginning of next month, there's a conference that's basically 3 days just for the conference, but there's the bookends, the beginning of the conference and the excitement and all the meetups, and then the wind down where everyone's like, okay, I gotta see you before I go back to wherever I'm going to, and they want to meet up. So it's like understanding those 3 or 4 days span of like I'm gonna be in San Diego for this conference, which is social media marketing world, but I'm going to be unavailable during the bulk of the day because I'm not going to be checking email all the time or.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of just preparedness. I think that's
Mhm.
and like I said before, giving yourself the permission to be down and off. Like you don't have to take that call like this
Mhm.
Saturday because that's the only time you have available. Like
All right.
go to like a normal schedule because then you're setting yourself up that you're going to be available every Saturday for this client. If
Mhm.
you call at like 11 a.m. on Saturday, they know now that you work on Saturday,
Yeah.
every Saturday.
That is true. Like sometimes I have a client that like 2 weeks ago, on the weekend I pretty much worked about 17 or 18 hours, like extra.
Mhm.
And we met in person,
Yeah,
But I mean, for me that's okay. Like I don't mind it, but I wouldn't want to do that every weekend.
yeah.
So
I think
there's
if you do work on the weekends, just make it something your own personal work.
well,
Weekend. Like you don't have to be available, even if you have like a whole day. Like after this, I'm gonna get back to doing the work and on my to-do list. I don't
mhm,
have any other meetings. I have one training in about 30 minutes, but I am leaving that space open to get the work done that I need to before I fly out tonight.
mhm,
But some people would say, "Oh, I have 5 hours. Let me stick in a call there." But yeah, you have that call. Then what happens after? Do you have to do more work? Are you
yeah,
going to be able to get to it like in the next day, or is it going to,
right. That's why I
Tuesday?
don't bring on a salesperson, because
Yeah.
so they can take those calls, because
Mhm.
I take them throughout the day, and then I still have my work to do on top of
Yeah.
it, like like the labor work, like the designs I have to keep up with and do,
Hmm.
and then all the business management things I need to do as well. So I think you hit it on the nail. At least I think for a lot of people probably that are self-starting a business.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't want to say that I know it all, but I've been through it all
5 years.
for 5 years. Yeah, and it's feeling like a business after 3.5 years.
Well, congratulations, by the way, because a
Thank
lot
you.
of small businesses don't even think they fail within the first 5 years, or even the first year. But
Yeah. Oh, and make no mistake, I have, had some disappointments, but I'm learning
yeah,
from those, and I think the goal is to keep going. And what are you learning
correct,
from each opportunity? Because
correct.
every, it hasn't been smooth sailing. It hasn't been constant going up, like it's just a matter of, keeping your eyes on what your goal is. And
Mhm.
I'm doing it right now. I'm in a different location than home. I'm working, obviously we're talking right now, but after this I'm working. Before this I
Yeah.
work.
This is work too. I mean,
Yeah.
because this is like our side gig, but we still have to work on it and then keep it
Yeah.
alive, So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, we have fun with it, but still working.
Yeah, it's a
So,
form of marketing, right?
so since you've been in business for 5 years, what are some obstacles that you've encountered and overcame?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I really appreciate that. I think one of the obstacles that I've encountered is the imposter syndrome, like I mentioned before.
Mhm.
It's very much so thinking that you have to do things the way you are perceiving them based on who you follow, who you interact with. Oh, if someone's doing that, then I have to do that too in order to be successful. And I think that that whole thought process, really comparing yourself to another person can really be damaging to the growth of your business because you're your own person. And yes, you can learn from others. You can get advice from others, but I think you have to still go through it yourself in order to learn how you can process it because your experiences are different. So the obstacle, I think, is, one pinpointed thing is like getting to the point of like thinking that I had to do like a Black Friday special because everyone else was doing it. It
Mm.
wasn't for me. Didn't feel real. Like it was like,
I think for retail, that's good. If you're in
yeah,
retail, yeah.
yeah.
I
And
don't
I
know
think,
about like our services type of industry.
yeah. And there are things I can do very quickly for reduced prices, but is that going to diminish the quality of what I normally do in the process that I give and the continued support? So like you can ask anyone that I've worked with, they can always come back to me and ask a question. It's like almost I offer unlimited customer service because
Yeah.
I've delivered a product and a business relationship in such a good way that they trust me to answer the proper questions. And that doesn't mean that every time they come back, that's more opportunity for money. But I
Mhm.
know that they trust me, and I have to
That's good.
be okay with giving away some of my time because
Mhm.
that's going to build upon relationships,
Right.
for the long run.
So, since you offer great customer service, and you're a one-man show at the moment,
Yeah.
uh, do you have any goals for growth in 2020?
Yeah, I think I want to relieve some of the content creation that I do. I am very much set in my ways in terms of processes, and I had to learn the hard way that I need to be able to outsource certain things that I know I can do, but I'd rather just have someone else either one learn a new skill because they may not be as well versed in it, but also, giving up that freedom, or like the control, allowing myself to be free of all the tasks on my list and just, peace of mind, because
Mhm.
the more control I have over every situation, the more stress I put on myself. So
Right. Um,
thank you.
so in content creation, what type of
Mhm.
content?
So
Maybe someone out there that may be listening right
yeah.
now or will listen to may want to help you out. Come forward.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I can name off like all the blogs and all the topics that I would like to cover, and I think you can get a sample size of my content and what I write about looking at my profiles. So more of that, someone that can really maybe talk to me on the phone, watch one of my YouTube videos or something, and create content from that, because I'm really just repeating a lot of the things that I'm doing on like this podcast or on a previous podcast or what I wrote in a comment. It's not a lot of like having to come up with very unique content, because I pretty much say the same things all the time, especially more so now working remotely and those topics and really understanding that lifestyle. And, repurposing that into maybe a blog or repurposing that into some visual elements. Like I have maybe 4 posts a month on my Instagram. That's, it's not a lot of work, but it's still time consuming for me to gather it in from my brain or wherever the online channels that I have posted it, and then organize it so that it looks right. And I already have my brand standards. I know what fonts I want to use, what colors, like, I can send a ton of different stock photos or photos that I've taken while I'm, like yesterday when I was at the coffee shop, like that could be a great photo to use later on. But it's really just repurposing what I say all the time on all the different channels, and like making it more give someone else the responsibility of doing that, so that I don't stress myself out about having to do it.
Okay, so I have 2 more questions. All right.
Okay.
Before ending this podcast, I want you to give some advice to some people that are listening to our show that maybe are just starting out. For example, you do digital marketing, specifically like your, how do you say, like your main focus right now is LinkedIn, but you know how to use all the other tools as well.
Right.
But you're just more niched, which is good, I think. So for those people that maybe are starting a digital agency, are probably scattered, not knowing which direction they should go into, what advice would you give someone?
Yeah, I think someone told me this a couple of years ago. It's land, then expand. I think that's really important to, you don't have to figure out your niche right away. This is something that's very, it's kind of drilled down to people. Like, if you're going to grow and be successful, you have to niche. Yes, but it also is helpful to be that resource and have people come to you without, with their trust, right? And you direct them in the right place. I think it's important to not look at every single person who comes to you as an opportunity to make money, because then you're driven by the wrong vision. You're driven by the wrong goal. You're not there to help people. You're there to make money, which I understand that's the goal, to make money as a business owner, but it'll fizzle out. The money runs out. If you're focused on when you're going to get paid, you're not going to be able to provide the value that they're seeking. You're not going to look for the solution to their problems. You're going to be like, well, I need to make this money, so I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to finish, and then I'm done. There's no relationship building in that, So really listening to what your customer has to say, what their vision is, providing the resources and tools that they can, so they can trust you, because they'll keep coming back. Just like the person that I was talking to before we got on live. It's like, I worked with them 3-4 years ago when I was first starting out, and they understand that I cost more money now, but I also understand that I'm going to ask more questions, because I'm not just going to say, yeah, I can handle that. That'll be X amount of dollars, because that's not what they want. They want someone they're going to trust. And I think that's the main goal. If you chase the money, it's going to run out. So chase the vision you have, chase why you do it. You're doing it to help people, or you love what you do. I love to create content. And when I'm starting to feel resentful or that, I got to calm down. I need to make sure that I give myself time to create that content, so it's good. It's not shit.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right, now random question
Okay.
of the day or of the podcast. If Gary V was giving us a topic
Hmm.
about you, which topic would you want him to give?
Oh, wow. Wow. Hmm.
Which topic are you?
Well, I'm gonna say that it's gonna not necessarily talk about business, but it is, because the core of your business is you as a person. So I would love if Gary Vee was talking about taking care of yourself and prioritizing self-care even as a business owner, because whether that's doing a massage in the middle of the week or going on a retreat where your phone is off completely for the weekend, do it and make sure that you can come back full force on Monday morning, or Thursday morning if you take your massage on Wednesday night. Because if you don't take care of yourself, your business falls apart, because you're the foundation of the business. So
all right, ladies and gents, take care of yourself.
take care of yourself and give yourself the permission to do so, because it's really important.
Yes. 4 hours every day. No, I'm just kidding.
You never know. I mean, I wouldn't. It could be, if you actually add it up, maybe you have to make reminders on your phone to like do it.
Oh, definitely.
Because you get so lost in all the day to day. So,
Fact.
do what works for you, and really listen to you, and try not to get distracted by others. So.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
All right. So where can people find you if they are interested in your services or just wanting to reach out?
What a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. You can look
Look
at
like you're ready.
all the social, on all the platforms, or allthesocial.com. You're watching on our YouTube potentially, which is Business AF Pod. You can watch the replay. We should be having the actual podcast up soon on your iTunes or Google, wherever you listen to podcasts. And what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, oh, someone's calling me.
Oh, that's you. I thought it was me I was like, what?
Well, hi to the person calling me. So I don't know how that's happening, but hold on. I can't mute it.
Just answer and tell them they're on the live podcast.
Yeah, I don't even know which window it's in. Okay, weird. Thank you, person, for throwing me off. Yeah, if you're watching on LinkedIn, then hi on LinkedIn. And I want to say hi to Roger and Itzy, who were on earlier. I don't know if they're still watching, but
Roger that.
Thank you, Chris. I'll see you.
Thank you.
In 2 weeks.
Because
you're gone Thursday to Wednesday next week, right?
Yeah. So all 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have a work day or something.
Yeah. All right.
That's why we spend time together. We have our work dates. We have work dates.
Co-working dates. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later. Thank you. Yeah.